Hey everyone, welcome to Sanketik live classes. Uh, in today's session, we will learn a very important concept in Python functions, default parameters. Python functions and default parameters. Okay, it is related to automation testing. So, in previous classes, we validated calculations results, and today we will validate the something different, that is functions behavior. Functions behavior. Okay, so before proceeding into today's session, let's have an overview of what we have discussed in the last class. In the last class, we have discussed about uses of multiple inputs in functions. Okay, uses of using multiple inputs in functions. So here uses same functions can be reused with different values. Same function can be reused with different values. Okay, for suppose, let me pull the code here. So, one second. One second. I forgot to mention in the last class about this code. So here, yeah. So here, what we have done in the previous session is we have defined a function first of all, and then we have added that parameters in the sense a comma b can be called as parameters. Okay, so here we had given multiple inputs. The result one is one input, result two is another input. Okay, we and also we had validated the multiple inputs, whether the values are correct or not, like that we validated. So we have done here addition. See, if you want a detailed explanation about yesterday's previous class, then you can go for the previous session where you can find the detailed explanation. Now I am giving just overview of the previous session. Okay. So whether the addition has done perfectly or not, like that we evaluated in the previous session. Okay. The sessions we are using for validating the outputs. Next, and advantages also we have discussed in the last class. What are the advantages for this multiple inputs concept is reusability, less code, better maintenance. And where we are using this in real time is in login data, search data, and form inputs. So, dynamic inputs are widely used in automation framework. That means dynamic means values are always keep on changing. So, whenever the values are changed, then we need it has to take the changed values instead of taking the static values. It has to take the dynamic values. Okay. This is what we have discussed in the last class. Now we can go for the today's session. Today's session is about Python function default default parameters. Python functions default parameters. We need to remove the C here. So till now, whenever we call a function, we provided the values manually. Okay, whenever we call a function, we provided values manually. But what if a value is commonly used? Okay, instead of passing the same value every time, we can define a default parameters. We can define a default parameters. For suppose, I will use the real-time example for this session. So, if you got the link in WhatsApp, okay, some URL, if someone send the URL to your WhatsApp number. So, if in order to open that link, you can open that in two ways. One is directly clicking on that link, or else you can copy the and paste the URL in different kinds of browsers, whatever you want. Okay, if you click on the link, it will open the default browser. It will be like a Chrome only. Mostly Chrome is the default browser, right? So it will go to Chrome browser and open the that particular website. Okay, and but if you don't want to open that URL in Chrome, then you need to copy the URL and you have to paste that in some other process like Firefox or Opera, whatever you want. Okay, so if you not open the Firefox or Opera, then by default it will open Chrome. Okay, this is the real-time example for our today's session. Like that, here also we are doing the same way. So what we are going to do is, instead of passing the same value every time, we can define a default parameter. Okay. So let's write the code for this. Then we can understand somewhat better. I can also explain you better after writing the code. So first of all, here what I am going to do is I am going to define a function. That function name is called greet. Okay. And name equal to what I am going to do is tester. Okay. This is the default name. Next, see, it will return. It has to return. Okay, or else let me do one thing. Yeah. So here we can print. Here I am using the curly braces and name. Next, I will explain the code. First, let me write the complete code. Okay, test underscore greeting. Okay. Next, it is going to store in result one equal to greet. Next, result two equal to greet. So here we can provide the whatever the name we want to give. So here I'm giving our institute name Sanketik. Okay. Now, okay, we had given the inputs. What we need to do here is next we have to validate the result. So whether it is giving correct result or not, we have to validate. So result one, as per this, what it has to print is hello tester. This is the default name tester. Okay. Next, we are going to validate the second result. Asset result 2 equal to, and there also we need to give double equal to hello Sanketik. Okay, this is the code we have. Default. First, let me explain this clearly. So first, let's understand what we are validating. In the first call, that is this one, greet. Okay, so no value here. Greet, in the greet means here this is the first value. So here we are not passing any value. Okay, here we are going to pass the Sanketik name as a value. Okay, so here we are not passing any value means, so Python should use the default value, that is tester. Default value is tester, and that's why we validate result 1 equal to hello tester. Whether it is going to give the default name or not, we are going to validate here. Okay, so default one is tester, right? Hello tester here has to print. Okay, next, in the second call, greet Sanketik. Greet Sanketik means here we are passing the value, that is Sanketik. Okay, we provide a value. So Python should use Sanketik instead of default value. So instead of default value is tester. But here it has to take the input because here we had given the Sanketik name, right? So it has to validate this one. Okay. That's why we validate assert result 2 equal to hello Sanketik. Okay. So where we are going to use this concept in real-time automation testing is in real-time automation frameworks, default values are used frequently. So most of the times it will use default values. Okay. So but sometimes we have to pass the required values instead of taking the default values too. Okay. So example, for suppose default browser will be Chrome, right? Okay, and the default environment for testers is QA environment, quality assurance environment, and default timeout values. If the page is loading, it is taking so much time, then the default timeout will be validated. Okay, default time will be validated. Instead of repeatedly providing the same value, automation engineers define default and override them only when needed. So here we are passing the default value, right? But second time we are going to override the default value. Default value is tester, but we are going to override default tester with the Sanketik. Okay. Let me run this code from the command board. So here I saved the program. 1 second. I have to save this one again. Now we are going to validate this one by test. See, one test case is passed. Okay. If it is not validated, if it is not passed, then it will become fail. Okay. So why it is passed means first of all, it has taken the default value, and second one, it has taken the override value. Okay. That's why it has passed. Okay. Let me write the running notes for this. So here what we need to understand is default parameters provide a value automatically. Default parameters provide a value automatically. Okay. So syntax. Oh, here syntax is this one. Here we need to make sure, we have to write down one note. So here what the point is default here, def function underscore name parameter value equal to value. Okay. Function name. What will be the function name? So this is the function name here, test underscore greeting. Okay. And parameter value. These are the parameter values here we had given. Okay. Next. So how it will behave in real time is we are going to write the as well. Behavior. Uses default value if no input is provided or no input is passed. Next we have to note down is uses provided value if input is passed. Okay. Next, where what are the benefits it has is reduces repetitive code. Next, improves flexibility. These are the benefits. Okay. Improves flexibility. Next, where we are going to use this concept in real time is default browser. Second thing, default environment. Default browser, default environment, and default timeout values. Default timeout values. Okay. Next, we need to remember one important point here. That is, I'm going to mention that too. Assertions, validate, default, parameter behavior. Okay. Assertions, validate, default parameter behavior. Okay. This is the purpose of assertions. Okay. Uh, if you have any doubts, please comment below and practice this example once. And I will see you in the next class. I will see you in the next class. Please do like, share, and subscribe for upcoming sessions. Thanks for watching. See you in next class.